A King Dethroned. The Air Force joined the revolutionaries when the Shah left on January 16, 1979, rendering the government incapable of controlling public demonstrations and riots. The Army continued to lose power. I did not need to hide anymore, so I went back to my hometown to be with my family and to stir the people of that area against the Shah's ruling prime minister. The majority of the people in my hometown fought against the revolutionary movement with propaganda favoring the Shah's kingdom. The political mindset of the area was more of a feudalist, autocratic one, serving the causes of upper-class citizens who did not want the lower-class mullahs and others to have a place in the political hierarchy. It was easy to maintain favor for the Shah. The people believed heads of communities or the aristocracy were able to better relate to parliamentarians, senators, or politicians and revive the kingdom that had run for thousands of years in Iran. This autocratic leadership was interwoven into the people's way of life, and the natives felt obligated to bow down in front of the autocrats. When these feudal lords called the people to resist the revolutionaries, the people obeyed and pledged their allegiance to this call. Only the younger, educated generations, who were still a minority, favored change and adventure and were receptive to fighting against the system. Some of the area's mullahs were fiscally obligated to local leaders and showed no interest in the revolution. After their speeches in mosques, they always prayed, "Long live the Shah and his kingdom." However, after the revolution, they all claimed to be revolutionaries. The key revolutionary mullahs in the capital city of Tehran diverted the socio-political path of the revolution into a strictly religious undertaking and employed a majority of the mullahs who had previously served autocrats, the kingdom, or remained neutral. According to Khomeini's law, those mullahs who were in the service of the Shah's regime had to be sentenced to imprisonment or death. They supported a king who maintained friendly relations with Israel and was pro-West. Khomeini spared them, however, because they were clerics, and clerics had to have more rights than others according to Islam. As Khomeini became a shelter for these mullahs after the revolution, they also became shelters for many of their past autocratic masters in exchange for monetary payoffs. The former oppressors found protection from the threats of young revolutionaries who wanted to hold them accountable for their injustices. Some of the former autocratic leaders were even given military and governmental positions and made life miserable for those who were once the arms and legs of the revolution. They now held positions that allowed them to torture and kill those revolutionaries who were fighting for democracy. I was once beaten by a few of these ex-autocrats a year after the revolution, falling unconscious in the street. The Ayatollah Khomeini quickly entered the scene after the Shah vacated his throne in Iran. It was a momentous occasion for me and all who had fought against the Shah's rule. Khomeini's arrival on February 1, 1979, also signaled defeat for the army, who eventually surrendered. The Shah's government collapsed. His appointed prime minister escaped, and the revolutionaries took over. Tears of happiness flowed freely from all who supported the revolution, making Khomeini's return to Iran a day of celebration. We had overthrown the most powerful government in the Middle East and believed that we had opened the doors for all Iranians to take part in governing their country and advancing prosperity. What a heartbreak only months after the revolution, when we learned our zealous allegiance to the Ayatollah Khomeini and his surrounding mullahs had been abused and our plans for Iran's future had been ignored for the sake of establishing the theocratic rule of Islam.